Good morning, everyone. David here, Monofit Training Systems, and today is the 24th of February, 2021. Wanted to talk a little bit about what's happening in our world when it comes to the coronavirus and how things are starting to change. So, of course, as everybody can kind of see, things are starting to open up a little bit. We're getting to where restaurants, California, I'm speaking of, if you live outside of California, you probably have things wide open. Kids are probably going to school and restaurants are open and all that stuff. But if you live in California, things are a little bit strict still and hopefully changing soon with, kids going back to school, kids being able to do sports and people trying to get back to normal lives. But one of the things that's happening and that's evident if you're watching news or at least paying attention to what was really trying to be told or being told is that this vaccine, when you get it, you're still going to wear a mask. You're still going to need to wash your hands all the time. It's not going to be business as usual. You're not going back to normal. And especially if somebody with comorbidities gets the coronavirus or is exposed to it, your risk is still going to be pretty high. So whether you get it or not, it ranges from 6 to 9 months or 12 months or so. That's how long the vaccine is effective. And again, you can still transmit it. You can still get coronavirus and you still will be wearing masks and whatnot. So, of course, I train a lot of people. I'm fortunate enough to have my gym still, being able to be operated, due largely in part to the fact that I train a lot of people on FaceTime still. So the benefits of their workouts are still being able to be realized because we're still training over the phone. And one of the things that we talk about a lot is the vitality that these people have because they still work out and how their colleagues or their family members get coronavirus or they get really sick from getting coronavirus. And in some cases, like my mother-in-law's next door neighbor and my cousin who died from coronavirus. So I'm not talking out the side of my neck right now. I'm talking from experience. I've been affected by this and people I know and care about have been affected by the coronavirus. But one of the things that was very fascinating was the conversation I had with my daughter Logan, who's 10, and I asked her, why do you think kids aren't getting sick from coronavirus at the same kind of frequency and percentage and intensity? I didn't say it like that, but I said it more ways she can understand it. Why aren't kids getting as sick or sick at all? And she said, well, because kids are always moving around and they're always, playing and stuff like that. Now, even with coronavirus, kids are still finding ways to be active. I know there's a lot of kids that just sit around and do nothing, and that's unfortunate. That's another topic for another day. But in general, children don't get coronavirus because of, we don't know. Again, start observing shit. Start opening your eyes. Why don't kids get sick from coronavirus at the rate that adults do? The simple reason is most kids' immune system is highly, highly effective. They are not corrupt. They haven't started drinking alcohol. They haven't started eating tons of bullshit. They're not, eating, hopefully, they're not, drinking energy drinks in the morning instead of water. They're not eating donuts instead of eating like food, real food. They're still eating fruit. They're hopefully eating vegetables, and they're eating quite a bit. Kids eat a lot relative to adults because adults allow themselves to get bogged down. They allow themselves to get too occupied and too busy to eat. That's crazy, but anyway, their immune systems are operating probably at the highest possible level. They're still moving around and they're still growing. And here's one of the things about this is that I don't have to be a doctor to know, and I don't have to have a degree in biology or any other kind of scientific degree, because I can observe, just like I don't have to be an engineer to drive a car, So anybody who might see this, who thinks that you have to know or have to go to college to know shit. Fuck you, because you don't. I know how to drive a car, and I don't need to know how the fucker works. I just know that I press the go pedal, I do the turny thing, and I make it stop, and I looked in the mirrors and I operate it. I do not need to know about combustion engines to know how my car works and then to drive it. I can just drive it. And one of the things that I've observed about the human body is that we have a lot of systems going on at all times. Like my friend Andrew said, in jiu-jitsu, there's at least 3 systems going on at all times. Well, in our daily lives, there's multiple systems going on in just regular existing. And kids is usually prime up until the teenage years when they start messing around with drugs, smoking, alcohol, and then of course just becoming sedentary, because now play is no longer that big of a deal. It's about, passing tests and graduating and whatever. The only people that really get involved with moving is people who want to get a scholarship or who love sports and athletics, and whether that's in school or outside of school. Their immune systems are pumping because they're eating all the time, because they're hungry, because they're moving around. Is there any reason why you as an adult watching this video, if you made it this far, we're 6 minutes and 27 seconds into this video, if you've made it this far, there is no reason why you should not be able to do some form of training, right? Not exercise, not working out, but training. You have a goal, you have a set goal, you have a program that gets progressively more difficult that you are doing that makes you adapt. Now, one of the things that's incredible about the human body, and we're going to go back to the kids, is that because their body's still in a state of adaptation and growth, it's always being able to take on new challenges and then conquer the challenges. And so I believe that the immune system is a very amazing thing in that as long as the body is fighting, it's used to fighting. A body in motion will always stay in motion, and a body at rest is easy to stay at rest. So once you get your ass off the couch and you start moving around, you start feeling better, you're like, dang, I should do this more often, right? Just like when I wake up at 4:15 in the morning, I'm tired. But by the time I get into the bathroom to brush my teeth or take a shower or whatever, I'm ready to go. No longer I'm going, fuck man, it's so early. I'm ready to go. I get here to the gym and I'm ready to go. I'm training my people online and I'm ready to go. I don't have time to be tired anymore. I had my opportunity to sleep. I need to go to bed at a certain time so that I'm ready for my people when I get here. Now, here's the thing. If you are not doing something that is a challenge to you, and for those of you who are overweight, who do not work out, who are sedentary and think it's okay, and you're carrying around an extra 50, 60, 80 pounds or more, getting off the couch and going for a walk right now could be all that you can do. And you know what? For those people, I applaud you. Get outside, not on the treadmill, not on other bullshit, unless you live in a place where it's snowing constantly. You need to get up and start walking around. Walk around your block. Drive to the park and walk around the park if your neighborhood ain't that good. Don't look for excuses. Look for ways to excel. Look for ways to overcome. So you go to the park or do whatever you're going to do, and you walk for 20 minutes. And then the next, you give yourself a break, and then the next day, 2 days later, you walk for another 20 minutes. And you do that for a couple weeks, 20 minutes. And then you walk that same path, and now you try to walk that 20 minutes, except you go a little bit faster or a little bit further. But you start getting into the routine of being physical. What that's going to do is force your body to make some changes. You're going to be sore on your legs. You're going to be a little bit winded. You might even be a little bit hungrier than normal. But if you start replacing your bad food with good food, you'll start to understand how fuel works instead of just garbage. If you want to look at your body like a truck, you can put gas in the tank and it's going to run. You put gas in the tank and you put load on the back of that truck, it's going to run. If you stop putting gas in the tank and you put load, your engine is going to fail because it doesn't have fuel. And a lot of people do that with their bodies. They're not giving it the right fuel and they start taking on load. And that load is usually fat. If you're giving yourself the right fuel and the right challenge, you might get muscle. And it's kind of like if you use this truck analogy that we're doing right now. It's like if your truck went from a lowrider truck to a four-wheel drive truck. And now it not only looks good, but now it can do some shit. It can carry some load. It's a utility. It's not just looking there or sitting there looking pretty. It actually can do some stuff, right? So if we feed it and then we challenge it, it can grow. But it grows the right way. It grows muscle, all right? Now, something I learned yesterday, I heard from a Jocko Willink podcast, is something that the Commandant of the Marine Corps had written, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it basically said that once we have understanding, it opens up the floodgates to creativity. If you are overweight, if you are out of shape, do not get creative, get understanding. The way we prove that we understand how to get in shape is by getting there. So if you need to lose 50 pounds, first lose 5. If you need to be able to run 3 miles, first walk 3 miles. Learn. Start asking people who know, like me or like somebody else you know that's a trainer. Don't ask your in-shape friends. Here's why. Some of your in-shape friends have never been out of shape, and so they don't know how to teach how to get in shape. They just know what works for them. I know people, and we all know people, and if you go to any Marine Corps base right now or any Navy base or Army for that matter, you're going to see a bunch of 25-year-olds shredded, looking sexy, eating pizza, drinking beer on the weekends. Why? They're young. Their body still has not become too corrupt. Even though they're taking in all that junk, they're working out constantly. They work out a lot. And so they just do whatever they're doing. Their genetics are still kicking in. They're still thriving. They haven't reached that hump yet. They're still on the other, the climb side where they can still be maxing out. You know, they're not really getting older and slowing down. They're still on their way up. So their bodies are still rewarding them. Those days do come to an end. But do not ask your in-shape friends how to get in shape, because it's different for everybody. And they understand how it works for them. Instead, find out if they have friends that are a trainer, or again, you can text me, email me, call me, whatever. But the thing about this is that I have a large amount of understanding, which allows me to be creative. For those of you who have access to people like me, go talk to them, chew their ear off, ask them, how can I get better? How can I get in shape? How can I train? What's gonna make me stronger? What should I eat? What shouldn't I eat? If the primary source of your nutrition is a bar, shake, or some kind of tablet or pill, it's wrong. That's not organic. You need to be having the majority of your food, and I'm saying like 80% of your food needs to be food. It needs to be real food, not processed food, not white rice, not a ton of bread, not a ton of starchy carbohydrates. It needs to be green vegetables, fruit, and protein. And if you're vegan, find a source that is legit, somebody who looks the way you want to look, or looks amazing. Forget about what you want to look like, because you might not have too high of a goals. So maybe you start going in waves or stages. Like I want to lose 20 pounds first. Now I want to lose 20 more pounds. Okay, now I want to start getting dialed in here and getting my muscularity up and stuff like that. But do not accept a mediocre goal. Accept the highest level. However old you are, look up, shredded guy at 50, in shape at 40, shredded woman, woman who competes in jiu-jitsu at 40, whatever you want to do, type it into the internet and it's going to pop out images. And some of these images are models, and some of these people are taking tons of fat burners and they're not getting there the right way, but you're going to find the right ones that really have done it the right way. And if you're their age, then it's attainable. Unless you have some sort of knee issue and all that stuff, your journey will be different, but it's not impossible to get there. So what am I trying to say? What's the point of this? Is that it is not okay to not be ready for the coronavirus. It is not okay to not be ready for any kind of sickness that might be in our, in our day-to-day lives that we might have to confront. People are dying from coronavirus, okay? People die from the flu. People die from other things because their body is not used to fighting. If you're gonna keep sitting on your butt and not doing anything about it, shame on you. Shame on you. Our bodies, as humans, we get so lazy and we get so complacent and indifferent about fitness that we think that, well, I want to be comfortable in my body, and that's not okay. You should not be comfortable in an overweight body, because that's not ideal. If squirrels and rabbits and, other mammals, they usually die at their peak. You know, coyotes and all these things, they're all just living at the highest level of wellness, fitness, whatever you want to call it, of existence. Their existence is at the highest level, because if they're not at the highest level, they're either going to become somebody's dinner or they're going to starve. So your bodies, our bodies, are elite machines. They're elite organic machines that are, the potential is higher than you could ever imagine. Look at these older, should be retired combat sports athletes still winning. You know, you got people like Tom Brady in the NFL still winning. You know, whether or not you're a fan of his, whether or not you think people cheated to get him to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, doesn't matter. He can still throw, he can still run, and he's still super intelligent and always probably will be. So get out there and do something about it. Again, if you don't want to ask me, ask somebody who does this for a living. Ask somebody who understands, not just somebody who's in shape, because sometimes people just don't know how they got there. They're just lucky that way. But start making changes, start doing something about it, because you never know when something might come knocking at your door that could take you off your feet and take you out for good. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.